Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today is December 9th, 2025. I am Solid Blue Sister, and welcome to Keep It Solid. Okay, so y'all, today, what are we going to talk about today? Are you kidding me? That's what we're going to talk about. And I might ruffle some feathers because one particular thing that I'm going to say, I said it in a group I was in that I'm no longer in. Um, and when I said it, they didn't take it very well. But, I want to talk about, first of all, I want to talk about self respect. Okay. And I want to ask people, excuse me, why they, why people don't seem to have self respect and uh, self respect for other people. You know, it's like why don't you have self respect for for other people? Is it because you don't have self respect for yourself? Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about a lot of things. And again, this may ruffle some feathers, but um, um, I just have to say it. You know, um, why is it that some people, excuse me, why is it that some people just don't seem to care about either other people's time, um, the way they show up to places, um, the way they talk to you in a business setting? Excuse me, my throat is really having. I apologize. Why is it that it just seems like that people just don't seem to give a damn anymore? And sometimes I question myself: is it me? Is it me? So I'm going to tell you guys something that happened. This happened in 2014. So it was 11 years ago. Um, I was interviewing for a receptionist, and I'm a boomer. So when I went to interviews, I dressed like I wanted the job. I didn't come in and walk in jeans, t-shirt, sweatshirt. Um, I wasn't doing the Mark Zuckerberg thing. I dressed like I wanted the job. Now, I don't care if you're going to work at Walmart or you're going to be the greeter saying welcome, whatever. To me, this is just me. If you show up for an interview, um, you need to show up like you want that interview. Or I'm sorry, like you want that job. You need to show up like you are someone who I should hire, or who anyone would want to hire. But people aren't doing that. People are showing up to interviews like it's not a big deal. So let me get on with my story. So this young lady came in. Um, This young lady comes in and she's dressed nicely, but she comes in and she tells me with her sister who is going to watch her child while she interviews. Um, the child is about 1, 2 years old, fussy, making a lot of noise, whatever. And I just looked at her and I'm saying to myself, why didn't you leave this child with your sister in the lobby? You could have met him, they could have gone to the park because there was a park very close to my office at the time. Um, you could have done anything but walk in to my business with your sister and a child in tow. Now, I gave her the interview. The interview was fine, you know. There were some things that, I was like, kind of looking. But for the most part, it was fine. I had interviewed other people who um, I preferred over her, but the interview was fine. So I asked her, are you going to have any issues getting to work? Are there going to be anything that will prevent you from coming to work? Are you going to have a problem with time? Because I am a very, you know, time conscious person. And she says, well, sometimes if I can't get a babysitter, I may be late. She says, my mom is my last resort. So sometimes I have to call my mom last minute. So I said, so if you're calling your mother last minute, are you going to be late to work? Now, the time was 9 to 4. Those are business hours. And I told her, I expect you at your job, ready to go at 9 o'clock. If you want coffee, if you want water, if you want anything, um, you know, um, get that before you start work. And she says, well, I may not be able to be here at 9, but I could be here like maybe 9:10, whatever. And I said, well, why can't you be here at 9? She goes, again, I have to make sure I have a babysitter. So at that point, I started to wrap things up. Thank you for coming in. We'll let you know either way. If we want to go with you, uh, if we go with someone else. But I started to wrap the interview up. And one thing that I did not do, which I always do in interviews, is I give spelling tests. Where you don't have your computer with you, you don't have, you know, any of these, you know, apps where you can refer. I sit you at a table. I give you a spelling test. And I also ask you to correct a paragraph that I've purposely put mistakes in for you to correct it. I didn't even do that with her because I knew I was not going to hire her. So that's when I come and I say, are you kidding me? Now, when I brought that up to a group that I was in, people got upset with me. Hey, Anthony, how are you? People got upset with me. People, you know, um, people did not like that I did that. They didn't like that I had that attitude. They said that nowadays, young mothers, young fathers, single parents, just people in general need help. Okay, I'll go with that. But this is what I said to them. Okay. Um, is it fair to me if you come in 10, 15 minutes late every day? Let's say I give you that grace period. I am going to take it out of your paycheck. But if you come in 10 or 15 minutes late, that means that either someone else has to do your job or I have to do your job, but your job is not being done by you. So let's say you come in 10, 15 minutes late for a week. You do it for 2 days, that's a half hour. You do it for 4 days, that's an hour. Five days, you're at an hour and 15 minutes. You do it for a month, that's pretty much a whole day. Am I supposed to pay you for that? Is it fair to other employees that are coming in on time and they see you consistently coming in late? Someone else is consistently picking up your slack. But by law, I still have to give you your 15 minutes, 2 15-minute breaks every day, plus your lunch. How is that fair to me? How is it fair to me, the business owner, or to any business owner? So I guess, I'm also asking, where is your self-respect? Do you have any? Do you have any self-respect? Do you care about uh, do you care about yourself? And do you have respect for the other person? Now, as I said, I am a boomer. I've interviewed, I've had, in one particular job, I interviewed, or one particular business I had, I put it like that, I interviewed a lot of people. And the people who showed up like they wanted the job, and I know I'm going to piss a lot of people off here, were boomers or millennials, but mostly boomers. And I am going to say that I think that the boomer generation has failed the generations that have come after. because the silent generation taught us better. Now, call me old fashioned, call me whatever you want, but I have a problem with when I call places, on the phone, you're using my first name. I don't know you. You're not my friend. This is a business transaction. Show me some respect and call me by my last name. But yet, I don't know if it's the American culture or what it is, but you go to other countries and people are still using Mr. and Mrs., Miss, Ms. I mean, it's gotten to the point where we don't even say please or thank you anymore. It's like we have this, some people, not all, we have this entitlement that we're supposed to do this. People are not gracious anymore. People don't seem to care um, about anything anymore. Why is that? Is it because you don't have self respect? You know, do you value yourself? Do you care about yourself? And I'm going to delve into some waters where, again, I may piss people off. But this is just me. I understand that the way you're raised will dictate a lot of how you are when you move through life, how you are when you um, deal with society. Some people just aren't taught, and I get that. But in some point, somewhere along the way, does common sense kick in? Does common sense um, uh, um, does common sense kick in at some point in your life and tell you, hey, I shouldn't do this, I should do that? Do you ever have the need to want to uh, better yourself? Do you have the desire to want to better yourself? Some people don't care. Some people are happy with the status quo and the way they are. Now, I'm going to say something when it comes to adults and education. Now, my husband and I were talking the other day, and I do this thing with him, you know, you know, um, it's just kind of a running joke that we had. I'll say, if I look like that, would you marry me? Or I'll say to him, if you had that on when I met you, we wouldn't be married today. But one thing I asked him, because we were watching a show, I can't remember offhand what it was, but I asked him, I said, if I didn't know how to read, would you want to talk to me? Would you have wanted to pursue a relationship? And he said no. And he asked me the same thing. And I said no. And we both said, because when you're an adult, you should have learned at some point how to read. So is that you not having common sense? Is that you not having the resources? But you're not a child anymore. You're not a child with a parent who never encouraged you to go to school. You're not that child who was fooling around in school. Hey, Frankie. You're not that. You're not that person. You're an adult. So when, as an adult, do you take responsibilities? And is that an "are you kidding me" moment? People who are chronically late. My yes, it is. Reading is fundamental. Welcome. I am Aaliyah. Aaliyah K. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Um, it's. I know everyone doesn't have access to a lot of resources, and I know that libraries around the country are closing. Um, but there are still resources. There are people who you can ask, can you teach me to read? Can you teach me to write? If someone were to ask me that, if an adult were to ask me to teach them, I would. Because reading is fundamental. If any one of you are familiar with Fantasia Barrino, she won American Idol way back when. And in fact, she was on the show with Jennifer Hudson. And she made it all the way to the top. But Fantasia couldn't read. She could not read. She bluffed her way through that entire competition. And some people may say, oh, good for her. Yeah, good for her. She won. But she couldn't read. And I think about how incredibly sad that is, because how difficult was it for her? How difficult was it for her to have to, learn songs. Some songs you probably knew, or sign contracts, or you know, you go home at the end of the taping, and there's some rules and regulations, whatever, I don't know, that you have to read. How difficult is that? How difficult is it for you to go through life as an adult? So I do say that is an "are you kidding me" moment. And I do ask you, and again, I may ruffle some feathers here, but is that is that self respect? Is that something that want to be able to do? Can do you have a commitment? And Aaliyah, she makes a point. What hindered her development? I don't know. I don't know. But I do think, and this is just me personally, I grew up with a teacher. My mom was a teacher. And my mom used to do to me, and then my father started doing it, used to do to my sister and I, which I do to my son now. I'll say something and she'll say, "What did she just say?" And I repeat, she said, "What did she just say?" And I do that to my son, because how you present yourself to the world, how you present yourself when you walk out that door, a lot of times it's first impressions. And for some of us, we already have a hurdle with first impressions. And when I would hire people, like I said at the top of the show, when I would hire people and I would give them a spelling test, or I would present that paragraph to them to correct with no computer, no nothing. I would just literally give them a piece of notebook paper and sit them at a table. And you can see how they would get so flustered. Because they couldn't, when I would ask them to spell certain words, they couldn't do it. You still have people who have issues with, and guys, you may think that I'm being petty, I'm being nitpicky, whatever, but people have been fired over things like this. You want to work in an office, and when your boss asks you to write something out and you can't write a simple sentence, that's a problem. That's a problem. Now, there are some jobs where you don't have to do that. But life requires a lot of reading. It requires a lot of writing. And again, I may sound like a snob. Do I apologize for what I'm saying? No. My mom also did that write it over thing, which I did to my son. He hated it. I hated it. But I look at it now and I'm grateful for it. Where, we would finish our homework, my mother would check it, my father would check it. And you're not turning in this paper. It's messy. Write it over. What? Write it over. Until it clicked in my head. You just do it right the first time. You have to do it, no, just do it over. Okay, Leah says she had to become a master of diversion, no ruffle feathers when people can scroll. You know what? You're absolutely right. And most people who cannot read are um, masters of diversion, or they get other people to do things for them. You know, they're those con artists who are able to get other people to, okay, can you read this? I don't have my glasses on. I don't, um, I can't see this very well. Whatever. They do get around it. But Aaliyah, do you want to get around something that many of us take for granted? I mean, you get up every day, you're reading something. You are you're reading something. You know, uh, you are reading. You are reading something. You know, and a lot of us, we have our phones. You're checking something on your phone when you're driving down the street. You have to read the signs. Now, Fantasia could have been. Uh, okay, yes, like Caleb says, yeah, you read every day, and I think poverty did have something to do with it. But Aaliyah, again, I ask you, um, at what point do you, as an adult, even if you are in a state of poverty as an adult, at what point do you say, I want to learn how to read? I want to learn how to write. You know, we have people that are blind who, because they have to survive, they learn um, how their house is. They know the sofa's over here. They know, the bathroom is, 5 steps, and then you make a right, whatever. You know, they have to learn. Some people are forced to learn out of survival. So is reading something you have to do to survive? Now, I do believe at this point, so many years later, Fantasia does know how to read. I'm going to get off of Fantasia for a moment, and I'm going to go back to Trayvon Martin. And this just popped into my head. Give me a moment because I want to make sure I have this young lady's name right. Um, okay. So, first of all, is everyone familiar with Trayvon Martin? He was killed by George Zimmerman. Um, uh, for being basically in the wrong neighborhood. Um, but if any of you are familiar with Rachel Gentel and her testimony is on YouTube, but I'm not going to play it here. I'm not going to pull it and play it here because I feel for her during her testimony. And I think Benjamin Crump could have prepared her better. But at the same time, I look at Benjamin Crump and I understand why she was not prepared better. When I say that, Rachel Gentile, she was 17, was Trayvon Martin's friend, and she was on the phone with him when he was murdered. But when she got on the stand, she was a mess because she could not speak properly. She could not complete a proper sentence. She was made fun of. They laughed at her. The media, the prosecution's daughter posted things about her and about the way she spoke. And I blame that on Benjamin Crump because I'm like, you had 6 months before this trial to prepare your witness. And she was so unprepared. And I'm talking about her speech patterns. Now, again, people can say, Solid, you're being mean, that's rude, how could you say that? But it's true. Then again, like I said, I look at Benjamin Crump. Since then, you have celebrities who have gone to Rachel Gentile and gave her, made sure she had speech lessons and what have you. And she's very grateful for that. Now, she's 17 years old. Should she have had an aha moment? At that point, okay, I was implored by George Zimmerman. We all struggle with that situation. Glad we let him leave peacefully because he's definitely not worth it. When you said let him leave peacefully, what do you mean? What do you mean? I guess I'm a little confused. Let Zimmerman leave peacefully? What do you mean? Do you mean Trayvon Martin left? George Zimmerman? When you say left peacefully, I'm not sure what you mean. But in terms of Rachel Gentile, I blame Benjamin Crump. And even if Trayvon Martin had never happened and Rachel Gentile was never on the stand, I would hope that somewhere along the line, she had an aha moment. Now I want to talk about people who are chronically late. I want to go back to that because, oh boy, once again, my mom had this thing where she would always tell my sister, be ready when the driver's ready. And there were many times, um, there were many times that my sister and I were left. If my mother was supposed to give us a ride to school or whatever, or a ride to the bus stop or whatever, we were going to go with her somewhere. She told us what time she was leaving. She would give us a 15-minute warning. And for whatever reason, my sister and I, we were, here's a word, you don't hear it that much anymore. We were lollygagging, and my mother's like, I'm leaving. She would get in the car, she would leave. And depending upon the situation, we would have to hustle to the bus stop if we were going to school or whatever. But which means we were late, because when you're counting on a ride, you don't leave early enough to take public transportation. And then we would get in trouble for being late. Not just from the school, but from my, from my parents, because when you had been ready, when your mom was ready, then you wouldn't have been late. So, I look at people, and I have friends who are consistently late, and it's like, are you kidding me? And I have one particular person who, it never fails. She always calls like 10 minutes beforehand. Can you guys wait? I'm on my way. And her on my way means that, she lives 20 minutes away, but her on my way means that she shows up like an hour plus later. So I told everybody else, you can wait for her. I'm leaving. And that's another reason why when I go places, I drive my own car. Because I don't want to have to wait for someone. I want to be able to leave when I want to leave. But mostly, I don't want to wait for you. I have been in situations with the same person who, if we were going to go to a restaurant to eat, I'm hungry. I'm not waiting for her. I'm going to go and sit down, and I'm going to have a meal. And sometimes, depending upon where you're going, they don't want to seat your whole party until everyone's there and ready to be seated. So there was a time when these same people, the same group, would say, well, she's come. Yeah, she'll be here in an hour. Why is she always late? So I would tell the waiter, whatever, the greeter. I can't think offhand what you call people who seat you at a restaurant. To prove a point, I would say, you know what? Let me have a table for one. Everybody would look at me. And literally, I would be finishing my meal when this other friend walks in. Everyone else is standing around pissed that she's late. She gets mad at me. Well, you couldn't wait. No, you couldn't have come on time. I'm hungry. I'm ready to go. Or I'm ready to eat. Now I'm ready to go. So that prompted my other friends to start doing the same. She never arrived on time. She just didn't. Even after that, she would see that we're all seated, and she would come and she would sit at the table. She would order something, but then we've been sitting there and we're finished with our meal. We're ready to go. Just, are you kidding me? Are you that damn inconsiderate? Walking when you could row will teach you to be on time. I'm telling you. And there were times when I was walking, but my mother taught the lesson, and she, and we are on time. I have a thing down for time. I have a thing for time. And see, I'm one of those people since, and this is before cell phones, y'all. So like I said, I am a boomer. So this is before cell phones. I would call and say, I'm leaving the house. I'm leaving now. I'm on my way. So if you know that I'm calling you and I'm leaving the house, and literally I would literally call you when I'm leaving the house, and I would say I'll be there in 20 minutes, I'll be there in 15, whatever. But you knew I was on my way. Now I'm that person where you tell me you're on your way. I'm either looking out my front window, or when I live, in apartments, depending upon how the apartment was situated, um, I would be out front waiting. And sometimes I would be standing there waiting. Well, you told me you were leaving, whatever. And that is one of the things that made me start driving my own car, or even before I had a car. You know what? I'll take the train. I will get there. Don't worry about me. But now that we all have cell phones, I'm that person who's calling you. I'm leaving the house now. I'll text you. I'm getting off the freeway. I'm 5 minutes away. Why am I still waiting? Are you making me wait? I'm not even going to say making me wait, because no one can make you do anything. But you're keeping me waiting for 15 minutes. Then you get in the car and I'm like, what? Oh, stop making such a big deal out of it. Okay. And I tell you, this is going to be the big deal next time. I'm leaving. I will wait for you. I will give you that grace period of 5 minutes. And 5 minutes to me is too long. If you're not out, I am leaving. It's rude. It's inconsiderate. It's disrespectful. Okay, Aaliyah, I will give you that. But at the same time, if someone is consistently saying, I'll be there, I'll be there, I'll be there, and literally when I'm doing this with people who I know have a time problem, have a time management issue. Um, I just can't. I don't know. Um, okay, but Aaliyah, why does it have to see? But why does it have to see that it bothers me? There are some people who may not show their emotions or whatever, and just keep it under wraps, and they just don't say anything, but silently they're simmering. Silently they're like, well, damn, Aaliyah couldn't have been, she's keeping me late again. And again, I say, you know, um, that comes, to people's time, their time. Um, I don't know. I mean, um, and what's funny is these same people, if something had to be taken somewhere or done something or whatever, they would always want me to do it because, well, I know you're on time. Um, when my before my son was homeschooled, there was this little girl, one of his little friends, always late, always late. Her mother, always, always, always late. Always late. Now, I'm one of those people who, and I must say the entire time he was from kindergarten through uh, third grade, because he was homeschooled in fourth grade. Um, he was never late. Never late, never miss a day of school, never tardy. But this one little girl, she was just always late, always, consistently. And her mother was the mother who was always late with our group, whatever. Um, but one day she came up to me and she said, so and so, you get him here on time, all the time. I wish my mom would do that. So a couple months later, her mom got sick, and she asked me, could you swing by and pick up her daughter? She was on the way. I said, sure. I said, but I'm gonna tell you right now, if she's not ready, I am leaving. Now, this particular time, this is second grade, and yes, I will leave a second grader. And her mom's like, don't worry, I'll make sure she's on time. So I told her what time I was going to pick her up, and she said, but that means that the kids will be waiting for the teacher to open the door. I said, yeah. I said, they run around, they're on the playground, running around, whatever. So she says, where are you throwing shade? This just happened within the past week. I'm talking about what I'm talking about. If you're talking about the story I'm telling Aaliyah, my son is now 25. I'm just talking about this one particular incident. So I picked this little girl up, and I picked her up for 3 days, and then her mom, was able to take her. Um, I'm sorry, Aaliyah. So when I'm picking this little girl up, she says to me, I don't want my mother to bring me to school anymore. She says, when my dad is able to bring me, when my dad leaves for work later and he's able to bring me, I'm on time. But my mom, she's always late. She says, can you pick me up all the time? And I said, well, you have to talk to your mom. And her mom was like, no, I'm going to take her to school. I want to take my daughter to school and drop her off. Not a problem. But this little girl saw that you get to school on time. Yeah, you are able to run around with your friends and do whatever, and you're on time. And the teacher was even surprised that she's on time, but it's I, guys, I am just a stickler for time. And I just think, I just think that you should be considerate if it involves other people. That's all. I'm just saying that I think you should be considerate when it involves other people. I think you should, at the top of the hour, like I was saying about this young lady that came in for an interview, and she told me about how she would be late because of her child. That's not being considerate of the person who you're working for. And yes, there are circumstances where you have to, um, uh, give people grace. I understand that. I understand that. But I also know that being respectful of someone else, whether it's time, whether, you're standing in line at the grocery store and you're getting frustrated, and you're trying, people cutting in line. Um, you just, you just have to be respectful of other people. And people just don't do that anymore. It's just not that respect. And again, you know, I am a boomer, and boomers get zinged a lot. We get zinged a lot. But I also think, like I said, I think boomers dropped the ball. I think we dropped the ball on a lot of things. Um, um, Leah, you just have me rolling today. Oh boy. See, Leah, as I go through the rest of my day, I am going to think about you and some of these comments, and you just gonna have me laughing. And I also always go back and I watch my shows. So baby was trying to learn. Oh, you all, I am going to be doing a music show. Um, so, but anyway, y'all, that is my show. Anthony, I know you share my show. Thank you so much. I will be on Friendly Differences on Saturday. I'm also going to be doing a music show. Um, and yes, Tupac will be part of my music show. Okay, but wait. I struggle too. There were no books in the whole house. But Aaliyah, what's sad is, and I do find this sad, that there are people who there are people who grow up and don't have have any books. They don't have any books. Uh, I was fortunate, that growing up, I don't know if you all remember this. Oh, what were those books called? I used to order them for my son all the time. But we used to be able to order books at school. You can order books and buy them, whatever. And my mom would always let me order. I'm sorry, I'm serious. You know what? That's fine. Ali, you know what? You're gonna have to come to Friendly Differences on Saturdays when Thomas the Villain is here, and uh, we have other co-hosts, and I am going to be doing a fun show on. Let me look at my calendar. Friendly Differences. We will be doing a fun show on Saturday the 20th. Now, Friendly Differences is 12 noon Pacific, 2 p.m. Central, and 3 p.m. Eastern. I'm on the West Coast, so it's almost 9 o'clock in the morning here. But Friendly Differences is my other show, and that's a show that I'm really involved in. Oh boy. But okay, they had 10 cents, but they didn't have a book in the whole house. Aaliyah, stop. Stop. Okay, y'all. Okay. I'm gonna go and do my timeline real quick. Hold on. Okay, y'all. So, Aaliyah, you know what? I'm gonna have to get my phone number connected onto my shows where people can call in. Because you're somebody somebody I would love to talk to. Even if you want to be a guest on the show, you ever want to be a guest on my show or on either of my shows, let me know. Send me, hit me up on solidbluesister at gmail.com. Let me put it in the chat. Uh, no, go ahead. Go ahead so I can do my timeline. You ever want to be on any of my shows, you just have to be willing to be on camera. Uh, you can hit me up at solidbluesister@gmail.com and we can get together. All right, so my timeline. That's okay. That is okay. With the state of the world today, we got to clown. We have to clown sometime. All right, y'all. So my timeline. If you today in 2025, this is what I always ask every week. I ask this every week. I ask if you in 2025 could go back in time to another time, where would you go? For me, I would go back, since I'm just going to tie all this up into my show. Um, I would go back where the generation after me um, understood what was at stake so they could tell their children and pass it down. And what I mean by that, I would let them know that if we're not prepared, if our children are not prepared, if we don't know how to read, if we don't know how to write, if we're entering a we're going to be entering a time where disrespect is rampant. And I'm not talking about being late or anything like that. I'm just talking about how we treat each other. Um, I would go back in time. Me in 2025 would go back and say, hey, we need to change this. We need to fix this because it's not getting better, it's getting worse. And when I look at my own people who look like me, when I look at Black people, I look at how education was so important. For a slave to know how to read was huge, but they had to keep it on the down low because slaves were not allowed to read. They were not allowed in education. But you had Black people who um, understood what an education meant. Um, Black women in America are the most educated women at this time. Right now in America, Black women are the most educated. I think that's huge, considering what Black women had to go through and what we are still going through. Black women have been the glue to keep their households together. And Black women have been the glue in this country. That's a fact. So if I can go back in time, and me in 2025 could go back in time, I would want people to understand that They need their education. And for Black people to understand that an education is something that you should crave. And I'm not saying you got to go out and go to college or anything like that. I'm talking about just going to school, sitting in class, and just learning. Now, a lot of the stuff, excuse me, a lot of the stuff that they teach us has been crap and not true. But just knowing how to read, knowing how to write, knowing basic math is going to be crucial as you go through life. Because if you don't know how to read, people will cheat you. People will take advantage of you. If you don't know how to count, you go into a store and people give you change and you're going to look at it and you're going to think that that's what they're supposed to give you, because people know sooner or later, especially if you can't count when you go into a store, yes, we are that good glue. People will know and they'll take advantage. So just keep it solid. Keep it solid. Just take care of business. Take care of business. And on that, I'm going to talk about Smooth California, how skin should be. Smooth CA Online. Smooth California is a natural skincare. Create a healthy skin lifestyle. Smooth California is a family-owned skincare formula whose main purpose is to promote a healthy skincare lifestyle. Smooth California is a healthy alternative to commercial products filled with chemicals and man-made additives that not only do damage to your skin, but your body as well. Smooth California products are tallow-based and are made with 100% natural ingredients without preservatives or additives. We strive to make sure your skin stays healthy and smooth. Smooth California, how skin should be. And their best sellers is their face cream, Calm. And they are running an ad this month, 25% off. And they also have soft body butter. This is another one. So, Aaliyah, first of all, thank you to everyone. We are on GCPR, Ghost Clone Productions Radio, where every voice matters. Thank you, guys. Again, I will be on Friendly Differences, hosting Friendly Differences on Saturday. But my fun show will be on the 20th. Oh, Aaliyah, I think I may, again, you're going to have to hit me up because I can't contact you. But I would love for you to be on to be on my fun show. Oh Lord. Oh, hit me up. Hit me up. Oh, okay, y'all. Okay, so I'm gonna tell y'all something. Okay, I don't have cracked heels. I don't have rough feet. My feet are smooth, literally. Excuse the pun. My skin, my skin, and my feet. Okay, I know what my fun show is going to be on the 20th. Aaliyah, you just gave me. Okay, you just, I'll check it out. Oh, you just gave me. You just gave me. You just gave me. You just. You just gave me. Oh my goodness. Oh good lord. You just. You, you just gave me my. I know what my show's gonna be about on the 20th. I knew it was gonna be a fun show. I wasn't sure exactly what it was gonna be, but oh, oh, oh boy, oh boy, and it is the friendly differences. Oh boy, friendly differences podcast on YouTube, so you can check out some of our previous shows. You can my favorite shows. One of my favorite fun shows from last year is when Thomas and Dred and Pap were on, and they were dogging me on tattoos because I have no tattoos. I am tattoo free. I do not have any tattoos at all. So you guys, I'm sorry. Oh, good Lord, Lord. Oh, uh, okay. Aaliyah, are are you done? Oh, oh God. Oh, Aaliyah. Let me just hold on, y'all. See, Aaliyah has me. She has me going this morning. Oh, oh. Okay. Okay. All right. So, I see your email. I will hit you back today. Rubbing feet together. Okay. All right. Okay. Now we gonna stop. We're gonna stop. Okay. Okay, y'all. I'm past my hour. I'm past my hour. So on that note, y'all, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week. I'll see y'all Saturday on Friendly Differences. Peace.